Hello beautiful people, I'm Chris from TechSpert and I'm here today with Motorola's budget-friendly Moto G8 handset. Now I've played around with all of the Moto G8 series smartphones. Go check out my unboxings if you want to see more on them. The Moto G8 of course doesn't have a sexy suffix like the Moto G8 Power or the Moto G8 Plus. So it might seem a little bit bland in comparison. Like, why would I just get the bog standard G8? And it's kind of like your mate Colin, not particularly sexy on the exterior, but you know, got it where it counts. At 180 quid, the Moto G8 is one of the more affordable members of the family, certainly cheaper than the likes of the Plus and the Power. You still get the same Snapdragon chipset packed inside of there, some great specs and everything, so it should do anyone who just wants a good, dependable, everyday blower. So what I'm going to do now is give the Moto G8 a thorough unboxing, take you on a tour of all of the hardware and the software so you know what to expect. And for more on the latest greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers. So it should be a fairly standard set of stuff packed inside this box. So of course you've got your usual literature, pamphlet shenanigans. You've got your Type-C USB cable in order to charge it back up. It's good to see a bit of Type-C action, even though it's obviously sub £200. And a bit of 3-pin plug action as well, because of course this is the UK model. And that's it, nice and easy kiddies. Let's actually check out the phone. And as you can see there, the Moto G8 actually comes pre-packed in a prophylactic style case as well, just add a bit of extra protection, prevent your lovely shiny Moto G8 from getting scratched or scuffed. Adds a bit of extra bulk onto it, but it is fully transparent, so you can still see that gorgeous blue finish. Let's get all this stuff off it and actually check out what the phone looks like in the buff. So this is the blue model of Moto G8, pretty standard colour for the Moto G8 series, but you could also grab it in white if you like. And if you look really close, you could also see there's a very subtle striped effect here on the back end too. It is of course a plastic finish, as you would kind of expect from a sub £200 smartphone. It does have that glossy finish as well, so it will probably pick up little greasy prints and scuffs and stuff like that as you keep on picking it up, putting it down over the course of a day. But it's good to see a bit of Type-C USB charging, always great. And up front as well, you also get a bit of headphone jack action, lovely stuff. And like the other Moto G8 handsets, you've also got a water repellent design as well. And it looks like we've got some juice in the tank, so I'll get it all set up right now and then we can have a proper full-on tour of that hardware and software. Right, Moto G8 is all set up and ready for action. And the good news is it's got fresh Android 10 on here as well. It's not old Android 9 like we got on the Moto G8 Power Lite, for instance. Very frustrating in 2020 to still have crappy old Androids. But yeah, you got basically a stock version of it right here. All of the great Android 10 features that you know and love, including of course a good bit of dark mode, all of that shenanigans. And of course you've got that Moto Experiences app as well, which is one of Motorola's few additions to Android. This just adds a few little bonus features. For instance, the Moto Actions gesture support, some great stuff in there, including a good bit of one-handed mode. Just makes using apps and the like a lot easier with just the one mitt, as you can see there. And thankfully, of course, Motorola has also added in the ability to swipe down that notifications bar from anywhere on screen. So that also helps out because it is, of course, a mighty 6.4-inch device. You do get a rear-mounted fingerprint sensor here on the back end of the Moto G8, and it seems like your typical sort of budget fingerprint sensor. Reasonably nippy, takes about a second or so to just register your print and get you into those desktops. There's no face unlock support on the standard Moto G8, but you do get the usual Google smart lock stuff. So for instance, trusted places. If you're at home, you don't have to have your phone locked all the time. It is worth just quickly pointing out, however, that there is no NFC support here on the Moto G8. If you want a bit of NFC, you'll have to go all the way up to the G8 Plus, upgrade to that bad boy. And also, like the Moto G8 Power Lite, you only get a 720p display here on the standard Moto G8. It's a 6.4-incher, reasonably crisp despite the fact that it's just HD plus 720p instead of full HD. Colours are sort of fairly natural, they're not particularly popular in your face, but they don't look subdued or anything either. And thankfully you only get a dinky little pinhole camera intruding on the action here in the corner, so you don't get a big old funky notch or anything like that. Brightness levels seem alright, not one of the brightest panels out there, but again for a budget blower it'll do the job. Should hopefully not have to squint too bad when you're outdoors in the sunlight, and as you can see there, viewing angles and everything absolutely fine too. And you do only have a single mono speaker down here on the bottom edge of the Moto G8, at least it's not shoved away on the back like it was weirdly on the G8 Power Lite. Let's just bump up the volume, see what we got. Spunk up that 270 quid on the Marshalls, or save it for another pair of premium ANCs instead. So as long as you don't accidentally muffle that speaker, then the output is fairly sort of loud and clear on that top volume, so it should do the job quite nicely just for kicking back with a bit of YouTube or whatever. But then of course, if you want to enjoy some music, I'd recommend definitely either hooking up to some speakers or headphones using a bit of Bluetooth 5 action, or of course bit of headphone jack on top. On the performance front, you get a Snapdragon 665 chipset backed by 4 gigs of RAM. It's basically the same as the standard G8 plus the G8 Power, so it should be absolutely fine again for your everyday shenanigans. You can be getting a bit of PubG, things like that on the go as well if you are a gamer, but only on those low detail settings, and do expect the occasional little stutter here and there. And the battery is a 4000 mAh cell, same as the Plus, but obviously not quite as bonerific as the mighty 5000 mAh effort found in the Power and the Power Lite. But you've got the usual power save modes, everything should still see you through a full day, absolutely no problem on a single charge, thanks to the fact that it's basically a Snapdragon 665, and of course that 720p display won't sap the battery too fast, though it is basic 10 watt charging, so it's not exactly going to be the nippiest once you plug it in. As well as the storage goes as well, 64 gigs are pretty standard for the G8 series, but you can expand that via micro SD memory card as well, up to 512 gigs I believe. And to finish up with a squint at that triple lens rear camera as well. It may look like a quad lens setup at first glance, but this bottom effort here is actually just the dual LED flash. And look, as you can see there, that back end is already starting to get covered in greasy prints. Yum, yum, yum. So open on up that camera app. You'll find it's the fully fledged Motorola app as well, with all of those great features packed in there, which I'll take you on a full tour of now. It's a 16 megapixel primary lens, so you shoot photos in 16 megapixels, of course. You've got all those great features like a good bit of auto HDR, and you can quickly swap to the manual mode at any point with a quick tap here as well. If you want full control over the ISO levels, the white balance, the focus, all that kind of shenanigans. You can shoot in RAW format in this mode as well. Let's just swap back to the auto mode. You do actually have an ultra wide angle lens here on the Moto G8 as well, which you can swap to with a quick tap there. As you can see, that just pulls back the viewpoint for a more funky effect. You can quickly and easily swap to video at any point with a quick tap here, and you can actually shoot up to 4K resolution footage, as well as of course the standard full HD and everything. Give a little tap down here. This is where you bring up all the other bonus modes, such as good old spot color, a Motorola staple for quite some while now. Good bit of macro action, not really sure again what the point of that is, but you do actually get a dedicated 2 megapixel macro lens here. That's the third and final lens on the Moto G8. And if we dive on into the settings menu here on the Moto G8 as well, you'll see that you've got a few little bonus AI modes down here right at the bottom. So you've got the likes of the auto smile capture, the smart composition, which can help to straighten up any wonky shots and just crop in a bit, and of course the usual shot optimization as well. And then if you want to get a bit of selfie action on the go, you've got an 8 megapixel selfie snapper in that little pinhole housing up top. Hopefully should be absolutely fine for your everyday snaps and everything. You do have a bit of portrait mode action, which you can get on the go too. And I'll just add a nice bit of blur effect. You can of course do this with the main lens as well around back, and as you can see there, you've got full control over the bokeh style effect, and you've got various other effects that you can throw in as well, so a bit of stage action. And that frankly right there is proper nightmare juice. Good luck sleeping tonight, kiddies. And if you do want to shoot a bit of vlog action as well, it's of course full HD resolution video around front, so absolutely fine for your basic YouTube uploads and that. Oh, and before I forget, of course you can quick load that Moto G8 camera at any point with a quick double wrist twist, which isn't quite as quick in my case these days. I used to be good at it, but now I'm getting old and creaky, and that actually is starting to hurt a bit. And that right there in a nutshell is your Moto G8. So as you see, for 180 quid, a perfectly fine budget blow, especially if you want a nice bit of stock Android, something that's simple, easy to use. You just want to be doing a bit of web browsing a bit of YouTube, things like that. If you're a more demanding user, you want a slightly better camera tech, that full HD display, then I definitely recommend upgrading to the Plus instead. But I will be doing you a full G8 series comparison between the G8, G8 Power, G8 Power Lite and the G8 Plus. So lots of Motorola smartphones. They do release a fair few. So stay tuned for that. Check out my other G8 unboxings if you want to see more on those goodies. And please do plug subscribe, ding that notifications bell, and have yourselves a lovely week. Cheers everyone. Love you.